The Truth Will Not Be Silenced, the show that allows people to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. I'm your host, Melissa Woodfork White. In today's episode, we will talk about surviving an AVM with Trey Sebastian Williams. Sharing our stories allows us to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. There will be a special surprise at the end of the show. Be sure to listen all the way through for the details. Our guest today is Trey Sebastian Williams. He goes by Sebastian, and his family calls him Trey. He was born and raised and resides in Shreveport, Louisiana. He has his associate degree in mass communication with a concentration in film. Sebastian is a visual artist that deals with photography, film, and painting. He has had his own solo art show called Finding Balance. He had the honor of being part of the Artish, the first Black Arts Festival in Shreveport. Sebastian is going to share with us about surviving an AVM. Hi, Sebastian. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and just jump right in.
Okay.
When did you first find out you had an AVM? Arteriovenous malfunction. And please forgive me because I'm human. I may be an English teacher,
All right.
but that was hard for me to pronounce right there. So go ahead.
It's all right. That's how I was when they told me. I was like, I have what? So basically on November the 23rd, so that's the day before Thanksgiving, November 23rd, 2022, I went to the ER because I was having a headache. It started on that Monday. But also my left hand, my left leg were like tingling. So I didn't think anything of it. Maybe like I slept wrong or something. And I took some Tylenol, the 24-hour kind, and took it Monday and Tuesday. My headache was just still there. So then I went to the ER and they did a CT scan and they said I have a AVM, which is a ultravenous malformation. And so, yeah, basically that's the day I found out was November the 23rd. So the day before Thanksgiving.
So can you tell us the specifics, like define it, give us the meaning? How did they explain it to you, what an AVM is?
Okay. So basically, how it was explained to me, arterious venous malformation. It is basically, if you've ever seen a bird's nest, it's just like a bird's nest. And so, you have all the little sticks bind it together and like a knot or whatever. So it's pretty much just like though a bunch of blood vessels, just like that. And they usually form somewhere within your spine or pretty much in your brain. Mine's was in my brain on the right side over here. And you can kind of see where they cut a little bit. Not really, but I mean, my hair's grown over it.
Yes.
And your boy need a retwist, but they were on the side because that's where it was. And if you were in school, you remember, when you're going through anatomy class, they had like the red veins and the blue veins.
Yes.
Represented like the pressures of, and the direction the blood was going. And so pretty much with that knot of blood vessels, you have red and blue intertwining together, which is not supposed to happen because they're going two different directions.
Right.
And so mine's actually ended up rupturing, which was why I was having a headache and I was having symptoms of a stroke because my hands was tingling and my left leg was tingling. And then also, I didn't realize it, but they say it was like partial
paralysis.
Not paralysis, but almost like blindness, I guess you can say.
Oh, okay.
Because I was very much so clumsy. I was walking in and stuff. I was like, I'm not this clumsy. Like I can see where a door is. I can pick up a cup and different things of that nature. So it was just my coordination was just all off on this side. So pretty much I was having what they call a hemorrhagic stroke, basically.
Wow.
My brain was bleeding and it was causing my stuff to be all messed up.
So on the left side, is where you were experiencing the stroke-like symptoms. But on
Mm-hmm.
the right side, you were like, I can do this. I can see this. Why am
Mm-hmm.
I being and so forth. And
Mm-hmm.
you said, how many days did this go on before you actually went to the ER?
So started on Monday, which was the 21st, and I did not go to the ER until the 23rd, which is that Wednesday.
Okay, so about 2.5, a little less than
Two
3
and a half
days.
days. Yeah.
And so I'm just glad that you went because you're here, but we're not going to jump the gun to the next
Yeah.
question. So let me just share some of the research because I was very interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're here today, and in your story and your survival of this. And so just to give a little bit of the medical terms, it's defined as an abnormal tangle of blood vessels where the arterial blood bypasses the capillaries and reaches the veins. It can develop anywhere in the body, but usually occurs in the brain or spinal cord, which is, and I love the way that you broke it down for our audience.
Yeah.
You put it in layman's terms because that's how the doctor had to explain it to you. I'm pretty sure he gave you all the medical stuff, which I just read, and you was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they broke it down. I love the way that you just broke that down and made it plain so that we can see it. And as you can see, you did a really good job because the way that you described it was in terms of the medical term about the the red blood vessels and the formation and how it can form on any part of your body, and how you said it was your spinal cord, right?
Oh, it was actually well, my brain up here.
It was your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so on my right side. Mm-hmm.
yes, got it. And so how did you survive this? I'm just going right into it. How did you
Um,
survive? Because when you listening to you describe it and then
mhm,
listening to the medical terminology, it's like, are you even supposed to be here today?
mhm, mhm. Um, so yeah, it was very scary actually at first. Because I was like, my brain's bleeding. So how are you gonna get to my brain to stop the bleeding? So I was like, I was chill at first. I was cool, calm, and collected. But when it started getting real when they started hooking me up to the machine. And then also they started giving me consent forms. Like those consent forms
Get into the
are
details. 'Cause
like,
I know you remember them, and I'm pretty sure you probably remember the order in which you received them. So start with the first one and work our way down so that we have a clear visual of what you were going through in this moment. At first, you were calm.
yes, yes. Okay, so at first, um, I didn't even realize how serious it was. So they were just like, they hooked me up to the machine. So at that point, I was like, okay, and so maybe I'm gonna stay here a night or something. It ain't nothing too serious. And then, the lady that actually checked me in, I still remember her name, Crystal. She checked me in. At first, she was like, "Oh, happy go lucky." Then she came in because at first I was like, "Y'all got some stickers." When I got there, I was like, "I'm probably gonna be here for a second. Maybe don't give me a shot or something." Um, and then she came in, she brought me some stickers. She was like, "Man, you were my oddball today." And I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, I didn't expect this, but yeah, your brain's bleeding." And so they um did an MRI after the CT scan to kind of put it into perspective as far as the MRI and a CT scan. A CT scan is just like a regular black and white photo. The MRI is going to be your 4K, top of the line HD camera. You can put that thing in 3D, put a VR helmet on, and like see everything. So that's what they were trying to just pretty much locate everything and see where it was. And after they figured everything out, they actually had to move me to Oshner's, which is kind of like our number one hospital here that we have, where the neurosurgeon actually requested me because they didn't have the hospital I was at, they didn't have the capability to take care of me. So they had to transfer me over to there. And then the care team was just great, just kind of calming my nerves, and they were very nice, which was this very helpful because for anybody that's never just been in the hospital, it's just like, I don't know. it makes you really grateful for like the little things,
Yeah.
like, being able to get up and take a shower at your own will, um, being able to cook your own food, because, some of the meals, it was all right,
Of course, that hospital food.
yeah,
We've heard the stories, some good, some not so good.
yes.
A hit or a
Um,
miss. Like one, you might have something good one day, and the next 2 days, it's a miss, miss, miss.
definitely, definitely. But
Well, let me.
breakfast was
Well, that's.
um,
Let me ask you the consent forms. What consent forms did they have you sign that made you move from the state of calmness to this is really serious? Was this the do not resuscitate? Was this the organ donating? Was this what consent forms next to kin who can make choices on your behalf?
that one. The
Okay.
next in, and then just giving them authorization to actually, because you have to, I don't think a lot of people realize you have to actually, with those consent forms, you have to give them permission to cut on your body, and if something goes wrong, you're consenting to acknowledging that you knew that this was a possible risk. So one of the risks that they wanted to that they let me know specifically was because your brain's kind of weird. If something's going on your right side, which that controls all of your movement. So since it was on my right side, that was their biggest concern was my movement. They wanted me to come out like me. As you can see, I'm still me. I can still move
Yes.
and everything.
Amen.
Blessed for that. And then once you sign those consent forms, I really just had to like let go and give it to God, because it was just like I really don't have any option naturally to just say, magically fix it. This is the only way naturally to fix it.
Mhm.
Spiritually, I was like, I just need the Lord to carry me through, just because I don't know, it's just something weird about going to sleep and then coming back waking up totally different.
Mhm.
Um, Especially in pain. I was in so much pain. Oh my gosh. Not really in my head, just my arms, because they strapped my arms to like the
Right.
table,
So you couldn't
um,
move.
so
Mhm.
I couldn't move. And then they also had to do what they call, not only did they remove the AVM, but they also had to do what they call an angiogram, which I had one previously a couple days before the actual surgery,
Okay.
which December the 2nd. That's the day I had my actual surgery to remove it.
Mhm.
Um, and basically, the angiogram, they either go up through your groin or they can go through your wrists. The first time they went through both of my wrists. And this time they went through my groin.
Ooh.
So it was just painful. But what the angiogram does, it just pretty much puts a microscopic tube into your arteries.
Mhm.
They trail it all the way up to your brain.
Your brain.
That they can see if they removed everything. So it was just pretty much just like an okay, like let me go in, survey, make sure we got everything out. Um, so that's pretty much that.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm just like, as you were describing what you went through, and obviously, amen, Jesus, you're still here. Thank you, Lord. What were the statistics that they give you? The survivor rate. Was this something like you are literally you should have been gone? I don't know how you made it this far. Was it anything like that?
The risk was definitely there.
Mhm.
Um, the more so of the risk of having complications afterwards.
Mhm.
Before they actually discharged me, they kept me in the ICU for a couple days, which if anybody's been in the ICU is it's just really not a fun place to be,
Mhm.
because it's literally for people who need critical care. So
And you
um,
were one of those people at the time. I don't want you to
yeah,
downplay that. You
yeah,
were one of those people at the time.
definitely, definitely. After the surgery, it was just they had me up on so much pain medicine, I couldn't keep any food down. So, also keep in mind when you go to surgery, they don't let you eat before.
Right.
So it was just like I was hungry, man. I was like, man,
You
like
was
I
tired.
was I was hungry and I was doped up. So I was just like, "Ugh, I'm so weak. I'm so tired. Just so sleep. I'm hungry too, but I can't keep anything down because all the pain meds. So,
Right.
um,
So what did
I-
they give you as your survival rate, Sebastian? Because I want everyone to know how serious your condition was. What were the
they
survival rates? Did they give you like 50-50, 70-30? What were your survival rates going into the surgery and then coming out, your
like
yeah.
pretty much 50-50. As far as that's what they were saying, as far as, me coming back with full mobility and everything and just being okay was 50-50. Um, so I'm just blessed that, the coin landed on the right side. Um, and God saw
I
me
love
through.
your sense of humor. I love it because I'm just like, if this doesn't put things in perspective for people, near death experience, life or death, and then you're still here, that positive, that growth mindset. I mean, just the smile and the glow on your face, you know, it lets us know how grateful that you are to be here and that you
Yes.
survived it. Can you share with us the aftercare? So you were talking about how you were doped up, couldn't hold on the feet. How long was your recovery after your surgery, after those
Mm.
procedures?
So I was probably there. My surgery was on December 2nd, which was a Friday. I got out of the hospital that following Wednesday, so I was pretty
Ooh,
much discharged.
modern technology, I tell you.
So pretty much 7 days, that's pretty much how long it took
Mhm.
for me to get out of the hospital. But aftercare, before they let me go home, I had to see a occupational therapist and a physical therapist. So the physical therapist came first and pretty much just tested my strength, see if I can, lift myself up, make sure if I go to the restroom, I can squat down safely and, raise myself back up and everything like that. Make sure I was able to walk, see if I needed assistance like that. And then the occupational therapist is more so your fine-tuned motoring skills. So pretty much, yes, you're walking, but are you wobbling when you're walking?
Mhm.
Are you taking confident steps, or are you kind of second guessing your steps? Things of that nature, and like putting on your clothes, putting on your socks and shoes. Um, that's what they helped me with. At first, they stated that they suggest that I go home with a walker. I
Mhm.
was like,
And you
you
said
know.
no.
I don't walk her now. Look, I mean, of course, if I needed it, I would definitely take it. I am gonna say that
Mhm.
if you need the help, definitely take it. Like, don't be prideful in the help that you're getting whenever you are in that particular situation, because that's what your family's there for and everything like that, which can be kind of hard, especially for someone like me, because I think that's what they call like the only child syndrome, kind of sort of.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a house by myself, but I'm not the only child. I just grew up in the house by myself. So,
Right.
um, I was always used to being by myself, doing everything by myself for myself.
Mhm.
So it was very different, now being in a position where I'm required to receive help. And that can be hard for somebody who's used to doing it on their own. So just receive the help. But I was like, no, I don't want to walk her. But they did say I needed someone at home with me for
Mhm.
the first week. So
Okay.
my fiance, he definitely some friends got some friends together, and they stayed with me while I was recovering for that week, just to make sure I didn't fall and hit my head. That was the most important thing, was just making sure I didn't fall and hit my head, because that could definitely, since they just went in and
Mhm.
took my skull and got to my brain, that could definitely be fatal to me. So um that was
So you
pretty
had to
much
have somebody there 24/7 watching you to make sure that you were okay.
for the first week. And then afterward, I did minimize my movements, because we live in a townhouse, so I'm currently upstairs.
Mhm.
We have a downstairs as well, which is where the kitchen, living room, and everything is. So I pretty much would wake up, take a bath, because I couldn't take a shower just because my equilibrium and everything, because they pretty much were in my brain, so it, swelled up and my balance was kind of off. I was still slightly confused, a little doped up. And I was pretty much laying down for almost 2 weeks, so I was very weak as well. Just, if you lay in the bed for 2 weeks, like literally not doing anything,
Mhm.
it definitely, your strength goes very fast. So I had to kind of regain all of that. Um, but I minimized my movements once I was done with my, self care. I would go downstairs. TV was down there, snacks, everything I needed until, fiance got home and, we relieved our friends or whatever. So I was pretty
Right.
much just watching TV. That's pretty much all you can do,
Mhm.
honestly, which was hard for me because I was used to, okay, Monday night is words of a latte. So, I'm gonna go to the poetry night or my cousin wanna go hang out. So we're gonna go get some sushi or, what I'm saying? I was always kind of moving around. And
Yeah.
now like, all right, I gotta sit still. So that was
So that
definitely
you
an
can heal and recover.
Mhm.
So how long after that were you able to get back to you?
um so today is the 28th.
Mhm.
I saw my doctor on the 19th.
'Cause you look good and you
Thank you.
sound good. So that's why I was like, okay, that was December the 2nd. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm doing a little bit of the math in my head. So go ahead.
This January 19th was my follow-up appointment with the actual surgeon, neurosurgeon. And so he said, I can pretty much go back to doing anything I wanted to do, with, awareness of everything that's going on, still be mindful. But, he's like, pretty much do my regular activities, go back to the gym, stuff like that. So from December 2nd till about January 19th, I would say that's about the time frame.
Okay.
Um, and I feel good. Now I can say like it's still, I can still definitely feel it's still healing because
Mhm.
if when I go to sleep, if I lay on this side or actually it doesn't really matter how I lay because, when you lay down, your head kind of squishes.
Yes.
So, I can still, it still gets kind of sore or, it itches sometimes. Sometimes it makes my whole body itch, not just because, when you get a cut or something, your body produces histamines, which is,
Mhm.
what people are allergic to, makes you itch, makes you sneeze, stuff like that. So, my body's fully aware that it's still healing. So every now and then, I'll itch and break out in a rash because, my body's still like in that healing phase. So I'll say I'm still healing, honestly,
Okay.
but I'm pretty much, I go back to work, real soon. So, I'm pretty
Okay,
much,
because that's what I was getting to. Like, okay, so when can you go back to work?
yeah.
So,
So the day after Valentine's Day, I will be back at work. Doing my due. I work from home, so that's another plus. That I don't actually have to go out
mhm,
and work. I work from home.
that
But
is
other than
awesome.
that,
I said that's awesome. And I see all of the wonderful artwork behind you. All of that is you, right?
yes, it is.
Yes.
Favorite girl over there, Riri.
Yes, I see her back there.
I did her, actually, but
You
all the
what?
rest, I did her in high school. The rest of these are recent, but yes, that's all my work.
Oh, awesome. So, as we wrap this up, how does sharing your story today help others?
Um, I think the most important thing is just really knowing how to listen to your body. Don't be like me and wait 3 days or 2.5 days. I Part of the reason I did that is just because of fear, because I nobody really likes going to the doctors because in my head, anytime you go to the doctor, they always gonna give you some bad news. They always gonna put you on some medication that's gonna have these crazy side effects or whatever, whatever. So every I try to do stuff the natural way.
Or you're
Even
not gonna come back.
yeah, even when I like try to do like if I could get a cold or something, like let me just go fix some tea instead of going back to take cough medicine, So
Well, I think that's human nature too. Wouldn't you agree, Sebastian? It's human nature to try to self, heal.
medication.
Yeah, before you have to go to, because a lot of human nature is going to the emergency, that it has to be extreme. At the same time, I love how you said knowing your body. You knew something was wrong and you said, I shouldn't have waited no 2.5, 3 days. I should have went right away. I think that that's the key for all of us here today, is that when you know your body and you know something's wrong, don't put it off. And I believe that's what you've told us here today. You need to go. You need to go.
And to add to that, just as far as like, let me put him down. Sorry, he's very needy. When you have the internet, WebMD. I know people say don't go to WebMD because they're gonna say, you're gonna die tomorrow. But in this case, I had WebMD and WebMD was like, oh, you might be having a stroke. And I was like, I ain't having no stroke. I'm too young to have a stroke,
Right.
And I was having
Having a
not
stroke.
a
Symptoms.
classic stroke, but I was having a type of stroke. So yeah.
But I have to interject though, Sebastian. WebMD has never failed me.
For real.
No. Anytime that I'm not for sure, I will go to WebMD and then I call my doctor the next day, or I shoot him. He's very good. Or I'll shoot him an email and I'll tell him what I did or whatever. And then he'll say, make an appointment, or he'll say, it sounds like it's this. If you want to make an appointment, you can, but I'm sure if you take X, Y, and Z, you'll be all right. So I just always followed up with my doctor, but WebMD has never failed me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try. Look, I'm gonna try. I trust it more ever since it. I went to the ER and they confirmed. Like I was like, yeah, definitely listen to your body. Don't be afraid of the doctors. One thing I also want to say about our healthcare system, there's a lot of people that say bad things about it. Doctors just want to dope you up, or it's like a insurance scam
Yeah.
type situation or whatever. One of the things while I was in there, they offered me pain medication, or they offered me this, offered me that. And my fiance brought to my attention, it's just like, keep in mind that they're offering it to you. You don't have to accept it. So, I think that's also what helped me recover more quickly, was because once I started thinking in my brain, I was like, okay, no, I don't want the pain meds. You don't have to give me the pain meds. Can you just bring me some tea or something, whatever. And then also, remember your doctors are there to take care of you, and you have to communicate with them. They're not just, you don't let them do all the communication. It's not a one-way conversation, basically. You can tell them what you want. And so I actually, I don't know about anybody else's belief, but I believe in herbal remedies. You know,
Well, you're
so
sharing your story. So this is your
yeah.
story. So this is what you
Um,
believe, herbal remedies.
yeah, so I believe in herbal remedies, and I was telling the nurse, even when I get nauseous at home, I use ginger tea, or I might just puff a little bit, and I'm good. I can continue on my day, because when I get nauseous, I get, I guess I have hypernausea or something, but it takes me a long time just to kind of shake back, and I just can't stop throwing up. So that's how I kind of control it. And they actually talk to their team, and they talk to their head doctors, like, well, it is, I can hear them outside my door whispering. I was like, well, guys, it's 2023, 2022. And then also the hospital I was at, it's actually a school as well.
Oh,
So,
okay. So you got to see they asked you if you didn't mind if some of the interns or
mhm,
would come in, and so you participated in that too. That
yes,
that's awesome. And so
yes.
what I wanted to say is thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing your own personal testimony of surviving an AVM. I'm not
Mm.
going to butcher the name, so you can say it.
Arterious venous malformation.
Thank you. And because you are an artist,
Mhm.
I want you to tell us, how can the audience contact you, commission you, have you paint something, portrait them? Give us all of that right now.
Okay. Well, my artist name is Artist That I Am. It pretty much comes from the Bible, because in the Bible, God when he was talking to Moses, he said, "I am that I am." So that's where the name comes from. And then
Nice.
whatever art is, that's what I am. So I do play guitar, photography, film. So whatever I'm doing, whatever type of art it is, that's what I am. The photographer, the film, the painter. And that's pretty much what you can find me under. Just one name, Artist That I Am. So that's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my website, all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sebastian. I am so happy that you shared your story with us today on The Truth Will Not Be Silenced, and for giving us those nuggets and those wisdom. We need to hear that. We need to hear that when you know your body, you need to act right away and not just put it off. And then don't be scared. Don't do things out of fear. And so we
Yeah.
hear it all the time, but just hearing it from you and your experience, and you're still here, it makes a difference. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So next week, we'll continue to discuss and have conversations about real experiences, personal and professional, stories that need to be shared, seen, and heard that makes us human. The truth will not be silenced, to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. The surprise, if you like and leave a positive comment about the show, you'll get a shout out. This includes businesses, products, services, organizations, and events. Following the link in our show, let's Buzzsprout, I keep getting tongue twisted on that one. Let's Buzzsprout know we sent you and help support our show. Buzzsprout is the best way to launch a professional podcast. Want to ask a question, be a guest, or subscribe to this podcast, The Truth Will Not Be Silenced? Click on the show link. Thank you for joining us today.